All right, guys, going to go ahead and get this one started. Welcome to another Wednesday VC. This one's going to be more casual today. Yeah, just going to go over some quick updates and then open the floor to any questions. Anyways, though, so I hope that you guys got to listen to the Binance Live. Josh did an amazing job. We'll be doing more of those. Just in general, we're going to be doing more VCs with other people. We also have a VC with Worldwide Crypto end of this week, but we'll be doing more VCs come January and first quarter more often with various partnerships and everything else that's coming. Another kind of, I guess it's like a little update, or I don't know, it's a big update for myself, but I guess a smaller update for you guys. I'll be moving to Indonesia in January to help out with all of our esports stuff going on in Southeast Asia. So I will be on the ground. I'm moving there for 6 months, and then I'm probably going to actually extend that to another 6 months. So yeah, if any of you guys are in Southeast Asia and or find your way over into Indonesia or Bali, feel free to come say hey. So anyways, so that's going to be starting in January. I am leaving the United States. Yeah. And then as for the launch, we'll be giving some more info on that on the VC on Thursday. But everything is ready, and we're excited. As of now, we're not getting a time of launch. It's just going to happen on the 19th. And that's also the day that we will airdrop as well. So we'll airdrop the tokens the same day. And yeah. So I think other than that, we have a lot of exciting stuff on the esports side. That's kind of why I'm moving, because there's a lot of work to be done. And a lot of it needs to be done in person as well. So anyways, so I'm really excited for first quarter and all the announcements to come. So yeah. Other than that, guys, does anybody have any questions? This one's today was just going to be quick. Nothing too new. Everything's still being worked on. I'm just really excited for us to see our tokens doing the whole up and down situation. I guess the other thing is, I'll add this. So with launches, I don't know if anyone's been part of a launch in a while, but in general, launches are like, you never know what's going to happen, right? So, and it usually takes time for the price to settle. So yeah, just, I guess, bear with it. Don't freak out too much. But yeah, it's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else to add. Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Let's see in the chats. Is the liquidity going to be injected before airdrop or the other way around? It's going to be right with it. As of now, it's either going to be like, I think right before or right after. Like it's going to be right within hours. So it's going to be either like, I think an hour or so before or an hour or so after. Josh will confirm that on Thursday. And yeah, any other questions? No, I'm not his cameraman, but I found that interesting. I was like, Josh, am I the cameraman that's coming over there? Anyways, no. I will take lots of pictures though. So I'll be sending pictures of a lot of the behind the scenes of the team and everything else. Yeah. And here's Josh too. So Josh, do you want to speak to one of the questions in the chat?
Sorry, guys, I just joined. Give me a minute. I'll join from my PC. It's a bit easier to talk. Give me a second. I'll be back.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so expect lots of pictures of our teams, our esports stuff, everything in first quarter. I'm gonna try to get as much like candid and like the growth of everything as I can. So any other questions while we wait on Josh? No, yeah, I know it was a joke, but I just found it interesting that he was saying that. I was like, am I your cameraman too, Josh? Anyways, though, definitely join on Thursday. I'm excited to Dragon Rider, who's Worldwide Crypto. He's a blast. He's an amazing guy. Really look forward to doing more videos with him in the future and helping grow his brand. He's just a super genuine person. And so obviously anyone that's genuine in crypto space, I want to support because obviously there's a lot of disingenuous or people out there. So anyways, Josh, do you want to answer the question? Hey, Josh.
I didn't. Sorry, I just joined. So I didn't. Hey guys, hey everyone. I didn't hear the questions or read the questions, but just wanted to sort of add to what you just said. Myself, I totally believe what Joe believes as well. I mean, I think that's why we got along from day one. We sort of have that same beliefs in what sort of crypto should be in terms of like people working together and people being transparent and genuine. And I mean, Myrtle is one of the first steps, but for us, we really want to look for partners, and we don't. When we talk about partnership, it doesn't have to be like something that has to be monetary or tangible. It could be something that's just, we have these conversations about transparency, the future of blockchain, the future of gaming, the future of DeFi, GameFi, our thoughts and beliefs in it. I think that that's one of sort of step forwards that we're trying to do in terms of marketing, sort of expose ourselves as sort of thought leaders out there. But yeah, Worldwide Crypto, awesome guy. So excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, Josh, so the question is the liquidity going to be injected right before airdrop or right after airdrop? And can you go into deep or like just explain that?
Yeah, sure. No, so we want to provide airdrops right after liquidity first. So one, we're going to do two things that sort of that we have not sort of done before, which is being on Polygon and launching two tokens at the same time. So just to make sure, as you guys know, for those who have been with us for day one, we've done many tests on testnet, but we never know what might happen. So before airdropping people anything, we just want to make sure that everything on mainnet sort of happens as the way we want it to be. So airdrops, so liquidity will be provided first. Airdrops will come in within a few minutes later. The Matrix network is pretty quick. So we believe that the airdrops to all holders should be within minutes, at most half an hour, but I don't think it'll take that long. I think it will be 10 to 15 minutes at most to everyone. And then following up a few hours just to sort of make sure everything from a transactional point on the DEX, which is Uniswap, everything works okay, then we will launch the swap right after that. Sorry, not a swap, the staking.
Yeah, I was like, news to everyone.
Yeah, no, it's not a bomb that I've just dropped. No,
we have
looking at you.
We have a swap that we're dropping as well. Man, I knew you were going to drop a bomb. Anyway, so any other questions, guys? Colin, do you have any questions?
Can you talk any on the staking?
Yeah, so we've got a few. So we've spent this. We've been and we really thank the community for this. Like, you know, we spent most of this year really building and beta testing things like, you know, Silver Vault, Soon the games are coming out, beta testing, KD Arena, staking as well. So we have a lot more utility that's sort of coming in place. It's just that we are being very careful because I think post what's happening in our current markets right now, regulators are really going to have a look at what's happening in the DeFi space and crypto space in general. I mean, one of the conversations that we sort of didn't, like I myself personally, like sort of pushed aside and didn't take sort of into account is, people pointing out the fact that, Ethereum is a security tokens, things like that. So really what everybody's waiting for is sort of definitions of what is legal, what is securities, what can be done and what can not be done. So we have a whole bunch of ideas, especially on our end with what we can do with KD Arena. Because KD Arena, while is catered to gamers, is pretty much a B2B sort of, there's a B2B business model as well that we can generate revenue from other companies, not necessarily in crypto, but in fiat. And we see it obviously, as a way for us to redistribute revenue among our holders as well. But we need to see from a regulated standpoint, how is that sort of possible without being securities. But with regards to on the 19th, what we are launching is first the initial staking. What sort of is going to come out with a white paper that's going to, I'm really trying to finishing up before the end of this week, at most latest this weekend, or at least if I can finish the whole thing, I'll launch portions of it that are essential, basically the main tokenomics that we've seen on the light paper that sort of updated staking as well. And the rest could be sort of later, closer to the launch of KD Arena. But one thing that we've sort of realized in our sort of staking simulations is the sort of sustainability of the staking tokenomics. There's a reason why financial banks throughout all these years, and also why crypto during the last year, why financial banks have APYs and APRs that are pretty low. So it's between 0 point something to 1, 2, or 3%. If you're really lucky, you get like a 4%. And then when you see crypto, in contrast, you see like during the heavy bull run, you could see 1,000%, etc., and all that, and we're guilty of that as well. For us, when we've relooked at this model to sort of make it sustainable, we've realized that if we want to give good APYs, we also have to limit them. So we have to sort of limit them to, let's say, and these are not actual numbers, these are just figurative. Let's say for, if we are targeting 8% APY, which is pretty much now getting to be the standards and actually pretty high. If you guys look at anything that's sort of above, or especially in 2 digits, that means that project is putting themselves in like a pretty dangerous sort of situation for long-term sustainable run. If we're looking at 8%, we need to sort of limit how much. So if we're looking at initially JED staking, right, and the rewards are in cred, we need to look at how much cred we can afford to give away before really putting like too much heavy pressure, especially when utility is just starting and kicking off, for it to have a negative impact. So while we want to maintain sort of very attractive APYs, we want to reduce the amount of cred that we can sort of give away from those APYs. So basically, the sort of bomb tonight would be like the amount of rewards, so the amount of cred that's going to be distributed from the staking is going to be limited to a certain extent, and limited to the first few who are staking. Obviously, because all of us are sort of waiting for staking for sort of, myself included, for like a year now, right now, basically since we last announced it. There's enough for the community to sort of stake, but part of our sort of marketing strategy would be sort of going out there and say like, hey guys, we offer one of the most attractive, but also at the same time sustainable, like long-term sustainable staking platforms out there. But there's a limited amount of it. There's a limited slots for it for people to sort of earn from it. To one, make it sustainable long-term. Two, also hopefully creating some positive FOMO there. So this is something that sort of we really finalized today. We finalized the simulations and the calculations today. So even Joe doesn't know about it because it's still early on his side.
Have you got an estimate how much people will be, sorry, in total will be staking on day one? Or are you obliged to not give that information at the moment?
How many slots do we have, or how many people we think are gonna stake?
Yeah, well, have you estimated? Because we've all filled in forms, us telling you how much we're going to want to stake. Have you estimated the total amount of JED that will be staked on day one, or are you not at liberty to give that information?
No, I can. I mean, I can pretty much. I can share it because I think we are a close knit community, and I can share the fact that most of us want to stake. So that's that. So that's sort of a good amount there. That's going to be staked. Most of us, a lot of the bigger wallets have opted for auto staking. And I believe based on the feedback that they receive, even for those who are not very active in the community, or in communities that I'm less active in. So I'm pretty much more active in Telegram, for example, and less on Twitter and Discord. We know that most are pretty excited for staking, and especially with the potential utility that Cred would have next year with the games, KD Arena, etc., and all these kind of things. So I think it's very safe to say that between and I'm not talking about all the wallets that have like $10 or less of JED, because I think a lot of them were very early investors who sort of either moved on from crypto or from Jetstar in general, but at least active wallets who are trading in general. I think we're talking about a good 70 to 80% will be staking. That's our rough estimate. And we have on our end sort of provided enough cred rewards for all those wallets to be able to stake and get good APYs from them.
That's great. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other pertinent questions, Joe?
There is 1 second. Okay, so just double checking. All right, so will auto staking be available at launch, which you already?
So yes, it would be available. Yeah.
Yeah, you spoke to that. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to message the chat if you have any questions. I think there's people typing, so we'll see.
I think one of the first, we can wait for questions, but if not, I can address some that were asked like a few times in the main chat when I was around. But sort of go ahead if you saw a question that I didn't see.
So Win white paper, which you explained that the goal is to have it right around launch. And then is the Excel going around is still available for staking? Yes, kind of. It exists. We've closed that. If there's something that you want to make an adjustment to, you can reach out to us. Feel free to DM myself, and we're really trying to finalize that, so not making too many adjustments. But if you need to make an adjustment, reach out to me in the next like 24 hours because we really need to finalize it. But yeah, it still exists. To follow up on what Josh said in regards to the staking, a lot of the community did opt to auto stake. But obviously different percentages. And then some people, of course, are, they want to like switch their tokens around. so they're gonna stake after. But yeah, anyways, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, no, I mean, just to add to that, we had a few people approaching us as well, talking about whether they can change their wallets because they're moving to basically a ledger. I mean, something more secure, right, than anything on Kex or even hot wallets. For us, it's not that is a big issue. For us, it's a bit hard to sort of. Some of these wallets are like sort of non KYC'd, and at the same time, we, to a certain extent, we do value privacy. But for us for those people who sort of want us to from a certain wallet and then airdrop to a new wallet is a bit difficult because we need to sort of have proof that that was your wallet initially that you're asking to move tokens to, because anybody can just come. Obviously, we trust our community, but I'm sure you guys would appreciate that we that we also want to be as secure as possible as well, in terms of airdropping to a new wallet. So that's really difficult for us. And the new tokens have no more taxes. So for me, it's just to say like, don't worry, guys. Just receive your tokens, move your tokens, and then stake so that they're safe. And then you can just stake when you're on your ledger, your Trezor, or anything like that. So that's one. Two, there's this question about Kex that's really coming out a lot the past. I think I've been seeing it quite a bit the past few days. I think it's specifically from the same few people, but it's a genuine like question. So I'm happy to address it. We have been for the past like year been talking to Kex much more aggressively before our migration to Polygon, because we are really ready to sort of go on it. There's a few boxes for them to sort of tick. So one is sort of like the tokenomics, the legality of the tokenomics. They're much more stringent now than before. But we are good on that. We are good on the tokenomics as well. While building our tokenomics, we're having conversations with potential partners, Kex, etc., and all that, just to make sure that this is sustainable tokenomics and not just a short-term unsustainable one. Legality of it as well. That was really important for us. One of the boxes that we sort of do not tick yet is basically number of users. So for a lot of these Kexes, when you are below a certain number of users, either they don't accept you or you have to pay an exorbitant amount. And this exorbitant amount is like the high, depending on the Kex, like the high 6 or 7, or either the high 6 digits or the low 7 digits, which is during this bear market is not really possible for us. One other way to sort of be on this Kexes is, and if we remember like way back during sort of the high bull runs, like for example, Shiba Inu was straight away, overnight sort of on Binance, is based on the number of holders trading or at least holding the token. That was one of sort of our strategy to sort of really be adopted by Kexes, was to really drastically increase the number of holders. So even if it's like in small transactions or small holdings right now, because once we're on Kex, obviously increase our transactional volume. A few things to address. First is one, how safe Kexes are right now. I don't have the answer. It's really difficult to say in this sort of market. But one thing that I can say is with what we are building, and that's one of the reasons why we're building KD Arena, besides generating revenue from other businesses and revenue in fiat, is also increasing our number of holders, because right now, through our various different Web2 gaming communities that we've been building down low on the side, potentially all these people who are like sort of organizing or playing matches every day and who want to win prizes or digital assets, whether through Silverfold or through kdarena.gg, we've sort of increased them to up to right now more than 600,000. And if for all of them that we do so, once we launch with KD Arena, we're going to launch our sort of wallet. And when I say sort of wallet, is we are not going to really make a huge announcement about it at the start. It's going to be something that's really on the back end because it's more about the user experience, still playing the game, still winning prizes, etc., and all that. That these people, while creating their sort of user profile on our platforms to be able to participate to these tournaments, they would have to mint whether it's the amount of cred, Matix, or one of our SFTs. We are looking at one of them or all three of them at the same time because they need some gas with Matix. They need some cred as a currency. And we can talk about really low levels, right? Especially in terms of gas, because we can talk about 5 cents, 10 cents per user. Obviously, when you multiply that by 600,000, that's a big amount, but we've sort of set it aside already. If we can seamlessly get these people to mint either cred, JED, and cred is all focused to be on KEXs first because we see a lot of value in JED, not necessary to be on a KEX, especially since it depends not on daily trading. It depends. Its value doesn't come from daily trading. The value comes of like buying and holding, whereas cred, the value comes from daily trading. So KEX is much more sort of valuable for us to be on for cred. So that's going to be one of the first things. If we can get like, even half or like 1/3 of its community to sort of sign up with us and through a seamless process, mint their first few creds, their first few SFTs, we can sort of, similar to what happened to Shiba Inu, close to overnight, be able to get listed on the KEX very easily. So that's sort of one of the questions to sort of answer one of the KEX questions that people were asking. One thing that we're trying to avoid is to pay, or at least pay too much to be on a KEX, because one thing that I think I brought it up a few times the last few days is one thing that people don't talk about with all these KEXs dying is all these projects dying with them as well. Because one, they've invested in it, two, their holders are holding their tokens in that KEX, and those tokens are sort of gone in some ways or another. Yes, we can airdrop them if you want, but then everybody sort of tend to lose faith, and that's where you see tokens sort of die from there. So that's a very risky thing, I think. So for us to be able to be eligible and get chosen by a KEX, and especially a tier 1 KEX based on just transactional volume or number of holders, that's much more important for us. That's pretty much it.
Any other questions? I answered one of them in the chat. It just had to do with the VIP stuff in regards to the VIP NFT for cred and the general NFT for the cred presale, which I said that we're aiming like into January, early February, that the art department has a lot going on, from the comics to developing game art to PFPs to website updates, and helping with KD Arena, that we're definitely keeping them busy. That's on their list, but it's going to be a little bit longer. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to message the chat or speak up in here.
I have a question. Can you repeat the entire conversation so far so I can get up to date?
Oh my God. And go ahead and ban him.
Is that the best admin / game developer?
There it is.
One thing that's really interesting, and this is not answering to a question, this is just me rambling at midnight after staring at a white paper for the last since that Binance Live, is something interesting that we are doing with Gaming for All, right? Which is right now focused specifically in Indonesia, but we want to sort of grow it. I don't know if Mr. Aslan is on this call, but our next target after Indonesia would be India. So it'll be very interesting there in terms of education, because I know he's passionate about it. When we when we go to the schools, we really see it's really interesting to see like the younger generation, how they sort of and this is where when people tell me about like how crypto is dead and all this kind of thing. So one, this is not the first winter that I've been through. I've heard crypto is gonna die like for like this is the fourth time. If anybody has been in crypto, like sort of even the last few years, like for example, and this is not about flexing or financial advice. You know, the last time I sort of bought a sort of big chunk of Bitcoin was in like maybe July, August 2020. It's I think it's like 50% up. So for many people, it's like, oh my God, crypto is dying, Bitcoin is dying. But when I look at the last time I actually bought Bitcoin, it's actually up like by 50%. Actually slightly more than that. So it's it's not necessarily dying. It's not dying at all. Adoption is necessary. Is increasing. But when we a few days back and tomorrow I'm gonna every time we have this sort of seminars with the schools, these are long-term seminars. They last at least 3 months. But I specifically usually do the openings with these schools when you talk to them, when you talk to teachers, but especially when you talk to students. A lot of them are actually more savvy with crypto wallets and the way how crypto works than how banking works, which is really interesting. So from POV of like, you know, being a digital native, which was the generation that sort of post millennial generation or millennial generation. Now we have this new generation being sort of crypto native. We see mass adoption honestly being inevitable. It's not going to be tomorrow, but it's definitely going to happen one way or another. So it's pretty cool to see and working with all these new generations.
Yeah, even with all the negative stuff that's going on, it's like, it's crazy. Go to Polygon's website and look at how much is going on with them. And just, it seems like weekly that they partner with someone new. But even beyond that, like look at all the Fortune 100 companies or like Fortune 500 companies, you'll notice that a lot of them are either developing a wallet or they now are putting their finances into Bitcoin. They're making they're allowing 401k or something to be investments for their employees in Bitcoin. There's all sorts of stuff. So there's always positive stuff going on.
And it's really cool, right? Like, so the one thing is really the passion of our team as well, on top of like what's happening, what we're doing as well, right? Because we are really one of the smallest communities out there that was launched during the whole bull run, and we have sort of remained small for the good or the best. I can't answer to that, but we are one of the smallest communities that actually sort of, even though we are obviously with everybody else, you know, even the biggest companies are struggling during this winter. We are one of the smallest communities that are still surviving, thriving, and launching things. Any other communities besides us that are doing this are really ones that are like more than 10 times bigger than us, or like, you know, so it's pretty amazing that the choices we made. Well, we've made obviously, just like everybody, we were not perfect, we made mistakes along the way. I think it's pretty exciting to look forward to the next bull run, because we managed to sort of survive. And I think one of the key to the survivals was basically you guys and the awesome team that we have, that no matter all the ups and downs, remain with us. So that's pretty cool.
I told them that you convinced me to up and leave United States. So.
Oh wow! I didn't want to say anything about it. I didn't realize you told him. Yeah, so that's gonna be pretty exciting. So Joe is gonna come to Asia, and we're gonna. I mean, it's, well, there's a huge market in the US and the UK. For us, really, one of the things as a smaller company that is really difficult for us is marketing, because marketing really costs a lot. Customer acquisition costs in the US and the UK, really UK. I'm talking about the whole of Europe, not just UK. It's just that most of our community in Europe is based in the UK. Sorry to the Germans and Austrians who are here. Customer acquisition costs in terms of marketing is really expensive. Whereas in Southeast Asia, as long as we come out as being transparent, we have utility, and we speak to the right people, customer acquisition costs can come to like close to zero. So as I was mentioning in the Binance Live, for example, we are really we're going to sign that deal of like being, having Jetstar, KD Arena, Silvervault broadcasted on like national TVs. So it costs us like nothing. We didn't spend thousands of dollars on billboards or influencers or anything to sort of reach there. It's just basically by conversations and having. So we are busy building. Joe is he's really awesome at connecting with people. He really understands what we are doing, what our values, what our mission, what our visions. So it's going to be really exciting having him here in Asia and speaking to these people, so that I can then focus on the build, and we have somebody here focus on really sort of talking about what are we trying to do with KD Arena or games, and what we're doing in the DeFi space, which we want to be a bit more transparent, but also more sustainable, etc., and all that. I think it's going to be pretty exciting for what's going to happen when Joe comes here and the partnerships that he can sort of lead us to. So yeah, and he's going to be my roommate for a while.
There you go. Yeah, and on top of that, it's just good to be in person. I know we're living in this world that, it's like Zoom calls, and I feel like I've been on an ongoing Zoom call with Josh for the last year and a half. I feel like I've known Josh for like 5 years. But anyways,
yeah. It's not dog age, it's crypto age.
Yeah, crypto age.
It's not dog years, it's your crypto years.
Crypto years, man. One crypto year ages you like 10. But what was I gonna say? It's gonna be nice because there's partnerships that, although we've been working with them, well, Josh has gotten to see some of these people in person, but like there's some that I've been working on that I haven't gotten to meet, and I will get to meet some of them in person when I'm over there. So, which is going to be fantastic. It just kind of adds, I think it adds a lot. I'm still a big believer in, like, if you can meet in person, obviously the world is changing and there's all sorts of stuff that's happened in the last couple of years, but it's going to be nice to meet people in person.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why I pretty much, besides the beautiful beaches, right? It's and the very cheap flights, like less than $100 from Singapore to Bali. Besides that, that's one of the reasons why I really fly often there, and that's how we get so many connections there. Managed to build our esports team, managed to build our communities, managed to build our partnerships. I mean, cold emails, cold calls are great, but meeting somebody in a room is much, much, much better. So yeah,
100%. And then also, like Josh mentioned, the gaming for all is a big thing that's like kind of close to my heart. I wanted us to get more involved in some of the charities that we spoke about very early on in Jetstar. We were speaking about different charities and different ways that we can like help, and different ways just in general that we can give back. So that's something that's kind of dear to my heart, and something that like will be very it's something also that you kind of need to do in person. Anyways, so I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, that's something that we've been doing on the down low, and we're sort of undermining and not bringing up too much because one, we don't want the charities or the people actually that we are helping sort of be affected by the negativity from crypto. That's one of the main things. I think like a lot of charities or through our outreach program, a lot of institutions, whether it's schools, etc., and all that, they become very wary at first when we say we come from a crypto sort of background, because from them all they see is like, you see some, I mean, we've seen all of this, right? Some tokens sort of really put up front and center, like, oh, we've done this somewhere and this is the charity, and it's like smack right on top of their website. But have they really? We don't really want to ride on that. We don't want people, and we think people would invest in that, because I think people can see through if we are trying to take advantage of whatever we're doing with the charities or outreach program. We are keeping it very low profile because we want to help as many as we can, and we're actually helping, like, literally now count, like there's a few hundred people that we are sort of helping in terms of income, lodging, basic needs like food, shelter, etc., and all that. So it's we while we are busy really building and doing that at the same time, we are really right now post token launch on the Matrix. We are really going to sort of find a way to sort of share with people what we have been doing, so that at least you guys know as a community the good that you guys have contributed to, but also for people to sort of understand that crypto charity is not, I mean, charity from a crypto company is not about marketing, it's about genuinely helping people. And that's, we want to prove it with outcomes as well. So we just can't wait to sort of share these outcomes with you guys so that you guys feel personally involved as well.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, our whole like existence is we're gamers, and we want everyone to be able to game. So being able to help people and even get people maybe like sponsorships. Like that's another thing, is like there's a lot of gamers out there. Esports is growing so much, but a lot of gamers will be overlooked. Maybe they have maybe they're super talented, but they don't have the funds to be, actually have a good gaming computer or whatever it may be. So anyways, there's a bunch of different ways.
And just the number of jobs you can create with esports, right? Like people overlook the sort of number of jobs we can create. So you need graphic designers, and then with so for example, like Twitch, which is one of the biggest streaming platforms, right, and bought by Amazon way back in 2014 for like nearly $1 billion. I think it's like 900 million. If KD Arena is successful, and our partnership would be broadcasted on like a 24 channel like ESPN, but in Southeast Asia, we would need like sort of esportcasters. And to be an esportcaster is not that easy. You need to understand the game, but you also need to understand entertainment and understand how to sort of entertain the viewers, how to be an influencer, all these kind of things. There's actually a lot of potential jobs coming just from the growth of esports. Right now, none of them are seeing revenue coming to them because it's mainly the biggest piece of the pie is like Korea, China, and of course the whole US and the Western world. We are not lacking talent in Southeast Asia. What we're lacking is education, and this is one thing that we really want to provide because nobody's providing it for free. We dedicated time, resource on either educating or getting partners to help us educate. So we will get all these broadcasters from television channels also going with us to schools as well, to potentially look for producers, camera people, etc., and all that. So we're talking about like, a huge number of jobs potentially being created through esports and through tournaments. So we're really excited to the potential we can bring there from a sort of outreach perspective.
Any questions about anything we've been speaking about, or just in general, any questions?
I just have one question actually. to you guys. I'm just wondering how many people want to see Joe show pictures of his legs once he's in Bali.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. LOL.
You'll need to do it. You'll need to do it.
Yeah. Leg picks when I get to Bali. Great. Anyways, I'm super excited. And luckily, most of my family has my back. My mom she is a mom, so she's gonna worry, but it's all good. OnlyFans. Yep. At the start of OnlyFans. LOL. Anyways, anything else, guys? We also, just a reminder, we have the VC, and I guess that's like 36 hours ish. So if you have any other questions, or just come, support Worldwide Crypto and their channel. They're connected. They've helped us connect to quite a few people. Really, really good people. So, yeah.
He's an awesome guy. So, and he's super, super fun, and he's really intelligent. So you guys should tune in.
Yeah. And yeah, anything else, Josh, do you want to touch on?
That's pretty much it. I'll be going back to the white paper after this.
Going back to the white paper. The only other thing that some people have been asking is like the PFP progress. When will we see PFPs? I don't know the exact date. I think it's like January, but I don't know if we'll get any in December or not. Josh, you there? Knock, knock. Hello. Anyways, guys, I don't know. I guess maybe Josh's muted or he's having to do something else, but I'll let him get back to the white paper. Yeah, stay tuned in for more updates. There'll be, I'm sure we'll be having more updates before launch. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see our tokens again. Whether it's going up or down, it's just it's cool. Just I don't know. I just like looking at the chart. So, let's see. Colin's typing. Let's see if Colin has a quick question. When Polygon announcements? So Polygon already did. Josh, do you want to speak to more on that? We already did some announcement with Polygon. Josh, you there?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. Sorry, my AirPods died. Sorry, what we were speaking to?
More Polygon announcements. I guess we had our Polygon announcement that we did our initial one. I think. Is there another? Are we doing? Yeah. Any more in regards to Polygon announcement?
So Polygon will make a first announcement. So with Polygon, we have a few announcements coming along the way with whatever we're building, because we are slowly going to announce Polygon, obviously being a much bigger institution or organization. Want to really take it safe with us being a much smaller community. So we have a progressive joint marketing strategy with them, but they will make an announcement, which is a very standard announcement for anybody who's sort of going onto the sort of Polygon network. They'll make an announcement on their end. I think it's next Wednesday or next Monday. I will confirm again. It could be on next Monday. I'm sorry, I forgot the date. I don't have it in front of me. But we'll make one official announcement where we are going on the Polygon network next week, that's for sure. But with whatever we are building and potential partnerships that we have, because we're working very closely with polygons and basically and mainly gaming projects, that's more popular gaming projects on the Polygon network, we'll be making more announcements with them, like throughout January, February, and March, as we are launching KD Arena, the updated versions of Silver Vaults, etc., and all that. One thing that's pretty cool that's coming up besides our partnership with so the TV broadcasting partnership that we're having is pretty interesting because it's actually with actually a local ICT company. So they are government owned, which was really hard to sort of we are really lucky to be able to sort of pitch this and earn it. So ICT, basically, they provide fiber, 4G, 5G to everyone. So for us, potentially, it's not just the broadcasting and TV partnership that we're looking at, is the fact that most of the people who are using internet in Southeast Asia are using these guys. So that's pretty cool for us to be able to advertise on their platforms. So that's one. But two, I've sort of shared it. I can't remember if I shared it in the lounge or in the official. And I think SC also mentioned that he saw it. There's this interesting news of Apple potentially allowing third-party apps on their app on their phones. So that's outside of Apple stores. So it's sort of outside of whatever rules they sort of impose, which would really be interesting. One for NFTs, SFTs, etc., and all that. Two, for apps like Silver Vault, we will have much more control there, and we'll be able to. It will be much more easier to have Silver Vault on iPhones. But I think one of the main thing that it sort of shows is third-party digital assets is not going to disappear. That's one thing that's really going to boom outside of the Apple Store, is people selling their digital assets outside the Apple Store, because just like Elon Musk has said, Apple Store is a tax on the internet. I think they're feeling the pressure right now. So that's really interesting. So for us, building a digital asset marketplace, which is not just Web3 focused like NFTs, etc., and all that, but also Web2 focused, Mobile Legends, Diamonds, PUBG credits, that is going to be very interesting in what's going to happen in the next few years in that space. And we are lucky that we are actually one of the first, or if not the only, Web3 looking at that space, because everybody's just looking at NFTs or SFTs. We are looking at both Web2 and Web3 assets. So I think I've not seen any other projects looking at that the way we are looking at. So we are one of the first, if not the first. So that is very interesting in a sense where while we were looking at building and updating our marketplace to not just sell NFTs, which is pretty straightforward because we are in that space, selling Web2 assets is much more difficult because it's having conversations with the developers like Riots, Blizzards, Moonton, etc., and all that. So it's a lot of work, not just building it, but just creating those partnerships. What we've sort of done is to now finalizing a partnership with one of the biggest third-party digital asset distributors like in the world, for us to work together with them so that we can sell assets together. So Jetstar Gaming will focus on the Web3, their company will focus on the Web2. We get a revenue share from them that's going to be evenly distributed among the holders that we have. And that's really, really interesting because it's a huge space to look at. Like it's undervalued, it's underlooked, but it's a huge space. And the fact that Apple themselves, who don't usually kowtow or bow down to sort of pressure like that, opens up to it, means that there's really a lot of opportunity there. So that's going to really be interesting. I'm really excited for that.
Good times ahead. All right, guys. I am going ahead and going to end this one. And I appreciate all you guys for being on the call. And if you have any other questions, feel free to DM us in the chat. Like I said, join us on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Worldwide Crypto and to discuss things further. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, let's see who wins out of Morocco and France. So should be a good match.
It's going to be a great match.
Come on, Morocco.
Go Morocco. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah.
Thanks to 2Js.
Thanks. Bye.
Later.